How good is Matt Kofler, the young quarterback? We don't know. I don't think Coach Stevenson even knows, but he has 9:27 left to get at least 3 points and get a tie. 20-17. Dufek went down, the second-year man from Yale, and this young man has come on. He's 5 of 10 for 50 yards, and he has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. First and 10, the ball's on the 27. Kofler drops the ball and falls on it. Boy, and the Eagles were pouncing just to make sure.
I think what happened is he faked the draw play, and as he faked with the ball hit on the hip or the thigh of the runner going by, and that's when he lost control of it. There he comes back. I think it may have hit the back going by, and that knocked it out of his hands.
Ellis was blitzing from the safety spot, and the green shirts wanted to do a tattoo on this young man from San Diego State. That's the pressure that you haven't gone through yet. Ferguson went through it for a dozen years.
It's in a tough spot now, second down and 20, and they can really rev up on defense.
Here comes the four-man rush. Bigfoot Harrison has moved into tackle, and they'll be twisting. Second down and 20. Dancing to the left, out of bounds. Closely covered was Denard. Almost intercepted. That ball had been a little underthrown. They'd have picked that off. Joel Williams was out there. New England 17-16 over Cleveland. Boy, New England's come back. They were trailing 16-3 in that game for a while. Miami 31, Pittsburgh 7. Marino hadn't been sacked yet. Shula's some coach, isn't he?
Bunk Phillips, the great line about Shula. He can take Hizen and beat Urine, and take Urine and beat Hizen.
Third down and 20 from the 17. It's a shotgun, and then Kofler's having to shout out the audible. Across the middle, and underthrowing, number 81, Brookins. And the Eagles were after the young man and got to him. How quickly they can change their attitudes about you.
Right. Pretty good penetration, but he did have time to throw. Although Tom Struthers, who's having a pretty good game, lucky to be in this one after throwing a couple punches, got back there right at the end.
John Kidd back to kick. He's from Northwestern, but you didn't think they played football there anymore, but he's a very fine punter. Ooh, this is a big kick here. Cooper is back to the 33-yard line. Cooper dancing, was tackled. He's still on his feet. He's down at the 35. And bodies are flying again. And words. A 50-yard punt, a return of 3. Coming up next Sunday, it's a big NFL doubleheader here on CBS. It all starts with the NFL Today with the group back in the studio at 12:30 Eastern Time. Then most of you will see the Giants and the Atlanta Falcons. In the second half, everybody will see Dallas and Washington. 4 o'clock Eastern Time right here on CBS.
See old Tom surrounded by those Redskins again.
Dallas may not have anybody left after St. Louis gets through with them today. First and 10 for the Eagles on the 35. All they want is to simply turn off the lights on the clock. Go back to Philadelphia. Jaworski on first down pass action. Has it spiked. And Wilbert Montgomery still makes the catch for a gain of 3.
Got a break.
Like Smirlis got a little penetration. Oh, Koala Bear.
Check the linebacker action out here. As our camera's focused on him. 55 is Haslett on the drop. Marv is inside. Ball's tip. Watch him close.
They are a bad bunch of
match pair there.
Motor scooters. Linebackers. 55. That looks like the way you did it for Detroit for 16 seasons, my friend. Second down and 5 on the 30. Jaworski keeps the backs in. Now he's going across the middle. Spike Nola has it at the 40. Inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. And there's a flag down about the 32-yard line of Buffalo. It's been a rough game, hasn't it?
It has been.
Physically
we talked about
nasty.
that. They have been getting after each other.
32-yard reception.
They have been on the fringe a couple times too.
It's against the local team. Don Wilson may have been involved somehow. Boy, when you're a losing ball club, you're finding anybody to beat on, you know. You go home, your own dog bites you. You know, your own kids are embarrassed.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 21 on the defense. Half the distance tack on from the dead ball spot. First down.
It was Wilson. Carter told you. Ball is now on the inside the 15-yard line. Penalties have played a big part in this game. Spagnola with 5 receptions for 68 yards. There's Haslett talking to the group like they're in the schoolroom. Calls the defensive set for this play. 7.5 minutes left in the game. 20-17, Philadelphia. Jaworski, the draw play to Wilbert Montgomery. Wilbert just simply runs by one tackler and gets inside the 10. Kenny Johnson, Wilbert just went right up and went inside of him like he wasn't there.
Good adjustment right here by Montgomery. Now the I formation is deep back there so he can see, head nice forward, shoulders square, and that's the way you run out of the I.
Montgomery with 67 tough yards on 13 carries, and there hadn't been a long one in the bunch. Hard work. Second down and 5 on the 9-yard line. Michael Williams in the backfield. Williams has the ball, cuts back. Michael Williams breaks 2 tackles and gets to the 1. Romes made the tackle there.
They got a great lead block that time from Hubie Oliver. Watch Hubie Oliver, number 34, out in front. Freeman, the safety, comes up and looks like he's going to cause trouble back in the backfield, but Oliver just wipes him out.
And Marion Campbell's pretty clever in that he's got a fresh back in there for a play, and here's a kid that's 22 years old and busting out anyway, a big young running back.
That's Darryl Talley, the outside linebacker down.
I saw him play at West Virginia. You know, he's really some football player.
It's going to be a good one. He's just in his second year. When he was at West Virginia, walked on there as a freshman at 185 pounds.
Is that right?
Yeah, 235 now. So he's a late bloomer.
The Eagles with the ball deep in Buffalo territory could virtually wrap this baby up. 6.5 minutes left. There he goes. Talley's going to leave under his own steam here. He has battled hard and long today. Don't forget, tonight on CBS, of course, 60 Minutes. Murders, She Wrote with Angela Lansbury. And the presidential debate. And of course, Dan Rather will cover that for CBS. That is all tonight, an important evening, right here on CBS. Dan Rather, you know, is an old sportscaster. That's how he got started down in Texas. Talley replaced by Potter. First and goal. You're looking at number 7, the Lackawanna Locomotive. I had to say that.
Yeah.
First and goal. Inside handoff. No. Michael Williams tried to go over the top and got a headache. Some defensive play on the goal line. Number 75, Acker.
Bill Acker, who comes in the short yardage situation. He's a nose tackle behind Smirlis, but in short yardage, they bring the beef in. Wilson, number 21, up on top, helping out.
He played at Texas with McMichaels, you know, the fellow that plays for the Chicago Bears, and they hunted rattlesnakes together in those days. Second down and goal. No way. Williams tries to vault, and they wouldn't let him get off the ground. It's going to be third and goal.
That situation, there's nothing fancy either way going on down there. On defense, you send the linemen low and the linebackers and defensive backs up top. Try to time that jump, and they got it. They got it timed. Eugene Marv, number 54. and 21 Wilson. Look how low the line stays, and watch these defensive backs and linemen come up on top and try to time this leap also by the ball carrier.
The human pyramid.
Yeah.
What a defensive stand. The crowd, the local crowd here, they must love this. It's within about 6 inches of the goal line. Remember, all you have to do is break that invisible plane with the ball. Don't believe so. Looking after. Williams trying again. And no cigar.
Decision time. Decision time. You go after it, you take the 3. Well, this is just good defense. This is a great stand down here. Effort you're looking at, folks. You're looking at an 0-5 team who's behind in the last quarter. The ball on their 1-foot line, and there's anybody in a white uniform giving up out there.
What a goal line stand. You realize that's 3 shots at it. Marion Campbell says, let's go get it. It is about a foot away now. Over 4 minutes left. Big play. Jaworski running and scoring a touchdown and barely getting into the end zone.
He might be hurt. He took a shot.
He just did get flipped into the end zone. Thompson came under him, and he's holding his left leg. He's thrown for touchdown passes. Well, what a dash this was. Took it himself.
Down in obvious pain, but he got the 6 points.
His mom is here, his family. They don't live too far from this stadium. Kenny is going off the field. He's being helped off by Otho Davis on that side. Vito Cab is helping.
Well, the only thing I like about the Jaworski situation, Tom, is that they're all up there talking to him up around his face, so they're not down and administering to ankles or knees or those kinds of things. So maybe, hopefully, it's just something like wind, because he took a jolt. Take a look at it right here. Play action pass. He wants to go back, but it's covered. He decides he can get in, and look at the shot he took. Whoa.
That's some touchdown.
Yep.
Now here's what Jaworski did today. He threw 37 times, completed 24, 2 touchdown passes, 234 yards, no interceptions, and he just scored the nail on that last touchdown run. Pisarcik in the hold. Of course, he is the backup quarterback if the Eagles would get the ball back again. 4:01 on the clock. McFadden trying for the 27th point. Important points for Marion Campbell and this Eagle team that he's retooling. It's good. The flags are down. These two teams have brought interest back into the extra point.
I said these two teams didn't have a rivalry before. They
Defense, contact before the snap.
That's what everybody used to get even.
That's right.
The try must be repeated.
Contact happened before the snap. That's why it has to be repeated.
McFadden's coming back out now. Remember the first side saddle kicker that we ever saw? He used to kick right here in Buffalo. Gogolak, wasn't he?
Gogolak, yeah.
The Hungarian side stepper, we called him in those days.
Ron Jaworski back there.
Yep.
Obscured a little bit. Seems to be, yeah, all right.
Brennan. Otho
like
Davis is on his left there. And here's the young kicker trying for that extra point again. Bodies are flying. The hands are up. Now we got a little altercation down there. They've been taunting one another now on every special teams play since we kicked this baby off.
Here's Jaworski's effort. This is going to be about the toughest yard of his life as he looks back upon it. Rolls out, wants to throw to Michael Williams, but who was covered in the end zone, and he says, well, I got to get it.
The foul for defensive encroachment,
So he plays Steve Van Buren.
which prevented the ball from being snapped, will be assessed on the kickoff.
You heard the penalty will be assessed to the Eagle team on the kickoff. There's the sideline. Jaworski, I would imagine the game ball will be given to the veteran quarterback in his 109th start in a row. 35-7. The Redskins got it going now. Don't forget, the NFL Today starts it all off as CBS has the doubleheader next week. Most of you, a lot of you, will see the Giants in Atlanta. Then everybody gets to watch Dallas and Washington. Washington now 4-2 with that last score you just saw. And Dallas being plummeted.
Or pummeled.
Pummeled, whichever. From the 40-yard line, the penalty was against the Bills then on that last extra point. And McFadden will kick it off in the 40 and should drill it right through the end zone. That's Williams. Williams dancing at the 15. Gets out to the 19-yard line. Haddock's down under that, number 26. Old buddy of ours, a former Eagle rusher, all-time player back in the late 40s. Jack Hinkle is in hospital up in Norristown right now, not feeling too good, and we hope the old running back gets back on his feet. We hope he's enjoying the game today.
10-point ball game here. 27-17 is our score. So without question, the Bills need 2 offensive possessions, and they've got to get 7 on one of them.
And Koeffler, of course, extremely young, and very hard to expect this young man to be able to pull everything together in one afternoon. Almost intercepted by Herman Edwards. He'll never have a better chance than that one.
Just got the word that Ron Jaworski is shaken up, as you saw, and should and could be back. But Steve Kenny, the left guard, left knee, will not be back in this ball game.
He hurt that knee against the Giants, and on that last touchdown run, there was so much penetration by those linebackers, Kenny fell down over one of those linebackers. 3:45 left, 27-17. Second down and 10. Koeffler from the shotgun. A lot of time, just gets it in to Franklin. That Franklin is some good-looking receiver. Gets to the 45.
Okay, I was just going to say that. Is he a glider? He is just smooth, just in his 3rd year. Byron Franklin has turned into their big play guy on this team. But it's a pretty good throw here, too, by number 10, Matt Koeffler, with plenty of time down the middle, and it was right on the money.
Smirlis and company almost came off the bench. They thought there was some spearing that time by the Eagles. Koeffler running out of the pocket. Now he stops, sets up, throws a slight move. Brookings couldn't hold on to it and got hit.
Got hit by Ray Ellis. A Buckeye hitting a Hoosier, or rather fighting Illini. 2 ex-Big Ten guys played against each other. Oh, you don't get away with it that easy.
Wow.
Pretty good lick.
Ellis himself left earlier in the game a little bit woozy for tackling Booker Moore. A tough ball game. Physically, it's been really painful. Jaworski is all right, but he is probably going to sit the rest of this one out. 27-17. The Eagles could win their second game. It would be 2-4. Koeffler with a lot of time. Now he's being chased out. Now he's going to run with it. And he doesn't get out of bounds, but he gets inside the 40.
Brookie, I'll tell you what, if he would have gotten out of bounds, he would not have picked up the first down, and he sacrificed life and limb that time by staying in and getting the stakes moved. Good piece of work by him.
2:45 on the clock. The daring young man called into action when Dufek went down. Ferguson couldn't play. Koeffler, good throw to the outside. That's Brookins. And closely covered, he still made the catch. Bernard Wilson was hanging right over his shoulder.
Bernard Wilson made a good defensive play, but not much you can do about that. The ball's thrown perfectly, good catch, and they dropped a flag on Wilson to boot.
The crowd still enjoying this ball game. He just saw Danelo's down there kicking into a net. Kickers are funny people, aren't they? Look at him. He's just down there getting ready in case. The buck stops with those kickers.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, offense, pass interference, number 22, defense, penalties offset, repeat, first down.
The best call of the day. 1st and 10. 2:32 on the clock. I see the name O.J. Simpson on there. Remember when he had the 2,000 yards rushing that one year?
Seemed like every time you looked up, he was gaining 30 yards in the snow.
Man, everybody else was falling down, and O.J. just ran right the perfect traction. One of the great players of all time, that's for sure. 1st and 10 now. Kofer in the present. Getting tangled up with Herman Edwards is number 83, Denard. Edwards claimed Denard pushed off.
Pass interference, number 46, defense, 1st and 10.
Tom, this is the situation in ball games where coaches are getting upset over the officiating. The fact that a hard played game comes down to being decided in the last couple minutes by a kind of call like this. Watch this. Both guys are pushing each other. Denard has his hand back. Herman's falling down. He has a hand up. That's football.
And Marion Campbell's got to be a little bit concerned. There's 2:26 left. A touchdown here, and anything can happen in the last 2 minutes of this football game. Kofer, a lot of time, going for the corner and out of the end zone, and chased into the wall is Byron Franklin. See who the Eagle defenders were that took him in there. Fowles was one of them.
Two Eagles and a ball boy over there. Got it too.
Coming up next, the NFL Today, of course, the post-game show with Brent Irv and Jimmy the Greek back in New York. Scores and highlights. Get to see some of the Walter Payton highlights of the day. 2:21 left in a game that is not over yet. 2nd down and 10 on the Eagle 13-yard line. Koffler from the shotgun. Just missing at the 4-yard line. Brookins trying to do a little turn in, and Bree Wilson was in pretty good shape on it. Got some good receivers in this Buffalo team.
A real young group, with the exception of Preston Denard. He is the veteran by far. He's in his 7th year, but Julius Dawkins is in his 2nd year. Byron Franklin is 3rd. And Brookins, of course, is a rookie from Illinois.
The young coach. Not beleaguered, though. I think everything is fine here. He knows that it's the tough way to make a living being a head coach in this league. A lot of tension. 3rd down and 10 now. 2:16 on the clock. And it would be over. 3rd down pass. Kofer being chased. Fox throws out of the hands of number 89. I believe that was Dawkins that made the leap for it. Kofer hit him on the hands with it, but Cooper was pretty close on the coverage.
Eagles came that time with a safety blitz. Sent Wes Hopkins in there, so they were in man-to-man coverage on that play.
That was catchable, wasn't it? I mean, it's a great catch if he makes it. 4th down, trailing by 10. Danilo is still just kicking into the net. Now he's out on the field, and it's going to be a 31-yard field goal attempt. Koffler is holding. The Eagles have blocked 2. It is no good. Wide.
Rookie, that'll just about do it, I think. As we mentioned earlier, they needed 2 possessions. They had to get 7 points one time and 3 another.
Wow.
If they,
People are leaving the stadium like it's
sinking.
And listen, the life of a kicker, it's no joke, you know. They don't remember anything except that he missed this last one in the last 2 minutes. You were a kicker, you knew.
I'm a kicker when I had to be. Well, that is I always felt kind of a thankless job.
They've had 7 different kickers here in 11 years, somebody told me. They have a Volkswagen van that they pull up with a 2-seater, and that's it. Pisarcik is now the quarterback for the Eagles. He'll try to use up that 2 minutes. Michael Williams dancing, hitting a couple. The Swamp Fox, he's checking out that 10-point lead.
When you've got a long way to go, it's nice to go with a friend. The 1985 Toyota Standard Bed truck toughened up this year with more horsepower than ever, so you know it can carry its share of the load. The new Toyota Standard Bed truck at only $59.98.
Friend, you're worth twice the price.
What a feeling, Toyota.
Strong workers will soon arrive to build. In years past, some would fall. So this Minnesota construction company asked Liberty Mutual for help. They worked with our own loss prevention people. Together, they developed better safety controls and a system that makes even this a safer place to work. Liberty Mutual's loss prevention people work across the nation. One way we're going to be there for you.
Ron Jaworski had some homecoming back to his native haunts, but I'll tell you, the Eagle defense did a pretty good job of shutting down what looked like it was going to be a good rushing attack for Buffalo. A 10-point lead in 2 minutes. Williams running the great circle route to the 25-yard line. He's got to get to the hole and stop fooling around. Executive producer Terry O'Neill. Terry, we appreciate being allowed to do what we do. Senior producer Charles H. Milton III, old Red Eye. Our producer Bob Deacus picks up those dinner tabs that we enjoy so much. Bob Dunphy, our fine director, and our associate producer Bob Rowe. Good to see Robert again, and the rest of our very good, hard-working crew has come to Buffalo and send this game around. Hey, I bet Philadelphia's loving this broadcast tonight. It's that football area there. They think the green and white's pretty strong. Our spotter, Bill Friel, of course, has kept me on top of most of the numbers. 0-6.
Yeah, he kind of, I think in his mind when we talked to him on Friday, kind of expected this a little bit because he thought that with such a young team and that it would take him about mid-season before they were connecting on all cylinders. So hey, he's a nice man, and I kind of hope he gets it turned around.
Boy, he sure is a nice guy. Like you say, boy, you start all over and get prepared for the next team. They've got the roughest schedule coming up I've ever seen in my life. Kenny Johnson making the tackle on Michael Williams. They play after Philadelphia. The Bills play at Seattle, then Denver, then at Miami. How about that, huh? Don't forget, next Sunday, the CBS doubleheader. It starts with the NFL today. A lot of you will see the Giants against Atlanta, and you know the Giants are exciting these days. They've made the punting game rather interesting these days. And everybody then will watch Dallas and Washington in that old grudge game, and each of them is 4-2. Of course, that's quite a battle. That's next Sunday here on CBS. 1:46 on the clock. This was the part of the game where I was always a little bit edgy. You don't want to get hurt for next week's game, and you got to make contact. Moran's in to punt. He has not had a very good punting game today. He is capable of some tremendous hang times. Wilson is waiting. Oh, this time he really got off a kick. Horan has driven Wilson back to the 20-yard line. Wilson faking, gets out of bounds at the 29-yard line. A good punt under pressure by Horan, the young kicker. 53-yard punt, an 8-yard return. The left-footed punter going off. He's got a funny-looking little shoe on his left, doesn't he, there? Got a different shoe on the right than he does the left. Probably dressed in the dark. You know, they get up early on Sunday morning and try to find the stadium.
One blue sock, one brown sock.
Coming up next, the NFL Today post-game wrap-up. We'll get to see Walter Payton's record. What a day. He had another 100-yard day with Brent Irv and Jimmy the Greek. We'll have a couple of exciting interviews right here. Incomplete pass by Kofor. Intended for Bramer. The young man has weathered the attack pretty well.
Yeah, he's not a bad-looking talent. I can see where they thought highly of him here in the past. In fact, he came in a couple games last year when Ferguson was hurt. Hasn't started and did a commendable job.
I hope Joe Dufek, the young Yale quarterback, I hope that's not a serious knee.
I liked him when we talked to him. He was a nice young guy. That's fun to come in town a couple days early and get to meet some of these guys and get a feel for the team.
I sort of like the Ivy League rule where they don't have spring practice. You know, he played baseball 3 years. Long pass by Kofor, overthrown. Herm Edwards covering very well there. You know what I mean? The kids go to school and they get a good education and play football and baseball.
I think of 4 Ivy League quarterbacks in the National Football League. Now that guys from Detroit, like they're carrying 4 quarterbacks because they like him so much as Witkowski. I think he played at Columbia. Right. Bob Holly right here for the Eagles.
Holly for the Eagles.
Kemp for the Rams. And Joe Dufek, who started here today.
3rd down and 10. Bills are running out of clock. 1:25 left. High snap. Kofor handles it. Good throw outside and airmails it right into the stands. Preston Denard, just watch that one. Clear everything. I wonder how many snaps he really took during the week. Well, I imagine Dufek took most of them, just having to bone up, you know.
And it's not only, it's just, it's time enough with the receivers. You're familiar with them. Not an easy job.
The Eagle flight back to Philadelphia will be a pleasant hour. Across the middle, Byron Franklin to the 45. There's a better young receiver around than this kid. I haven't seen him. Fowles was there. Just about a minute left. Kofor. Overthrowing, intercepted by Wes Hopkins. Hopkins trying to stall some of the time out. There's our flags down about the 45-yard line. Greg Brown. He is such a good pass rusher. He might have left early. Marion Campbell.
Can't get it over with, right?
Offside. Number 88 defense. 5-yard penalty. 1st and 5.
It's actually 98. There is no 88 on defense. That's Spagnola, but
yeah, they wanted one of those takeaways. They haven't had many takeaways this year. I think they've only turned the ball over 3 times coming into this game. So Marion will take what he can get, even if it's at the mop-up stage here.
46 seconds left. The Colts are next for the Eagles. Kofor drilled at the 45, 46-yard line. Armstrong and Harrison getting the sack there. The Eagles play the Colts, then the New York Giants, and St. Louis. So this could be a pretty good stretch for them. They have a couple of those teams that they can work on before they get to St. Louis. And they've got to chase Neil Lomax from the very first play on.
Well, you just have to sell your people on the fact when you get off to a tough start like both these teams have, that it's a long season and you can get it turned around.
You know, one of Marion Campbell's big problems in Philadelphia was the Michael Jackson Victory Tour. They kept taking the stadium where the Eagles work out all the time, you know, and they bring in all those laser lights and all that stuff, and the players are...
Where'd you say they ended up practicing over at the Navy Yard or somewhere like that?
Right next to USS Saratoga. Don't forget, next Sunday, the CBS doubleheader. The NFL Today starts it all, then it's... A lot of you will see the Giants play Atlanta, and everybody will get to tune in and watch Dallas and the Redskins.
Garvey had wide out. This is the game 4 for 5.
CBS doubleheader. 40 seconds left. The crowd has not been as angry about this loss as I thought they were going to be. You know, I think they've been pretty appreciative.
I got to root for my Tigers.
And good football draws big crowds. Cofer, good early throw to Denard. Boy, he threw it before Preston Denard had even turned around. Good execution by the young quarterback. .35 seconds left. The Eagles are thinking about their post-game meal on the plane and not getting hurt in the last 35 seconds. Joe Dufek started at quarterback and hurt his knee early in the second period. Colford dumps it off to number 89, Dawkins. Dawkins steps out at about the 32-yard line of Philadelphia. Stops that clock. And the survivors here in the stadium are now trying to get a wave going like we've seen in San Francisco and other areas.
Hey, you gotta like him for staying.
Swamp Fox is just pretty happy with today, I think. Koeffler. Second down pass. Bell has it to 20. Inside the 15 to the 10. And fumbles the ball out of bounds. Ellis and Cooper double-teamed the running back at that spot. The clock is going. No more Buffalo timeouts.
Bell's a pretty nice-looking running back, don't you think, rookie? Come in here and had a lot of pressure on him trying to replace Joe Cribbs, but he looks like he's going to be a good one.
Stopping the clock with 1 second left. Koeffler puts enough postage on that one to get it into the seats. Marion Jr. gets his second win. With the head coach at Atlanta back in the 70s. He's got a new challenge in Philadelphia. Koeffler intercepted by number 24, Ellis. Ray Ellis comes up with it, still has it. The game is over, but Ellis is running for his life. Koeffler, the quarterback, made the tackle on Ellis, the interceptor. 27-17. The Eagles take Buffalo. It's all over. A 10-point margin.
You're off to a driving start. Big A! The first letter in auto parts. We've got a store with the parts you need. A man who knows the way. Big A! The first letter in auto parts is all you need to say.
Good job.
Yeah, we've got all the parts you need because we're the first letter in auto parts.
Big A, big A, big A.
The insulation is ready, and the time is now. It's all up to you to beat those high home heating and air conditioning costs. So get rolling. Add an extra layer of Owens Corning Pink Attic blanket insulation and score energy savings. If you act now, you'll get a free warm-up jacket with the emblem of your favorite NFL team. A great offer, only from Owens Corning.
No company can simply deliver a computer and feel it has delivered on the promise of office automation. At Wang, we provide service and support along with our computers so that the people who use them will always be able to perform to their fullest potential. Wang, we put people in front of computers.
All right?
Okay, Tom.
All right, we're back. A 10-point victory for Philadelphia. Each team in the must-win situation. There's no doubt about that. I'm Tom Brookshire along with Wayne Walker, and we have the quarterback down on the sidelines, number 7, Ron Jaworski. And Wayne, if you want to start out the questioning, we'll talk to the quarterback right now.
Ron Jaworski, yeah, Jaws, first congratulations. I guess first thing I want to ask you, your touchdown run, when I said you look like Steve Van Buren, a moving van going to the end zone. Are you okay? What was it?
Well, my ribs are sore right now, and they're bruised, but I think I'll be all right. Just a situation where we had to get the ball in the end zone. The Bills did a great job on 3 successive plays of stopping our high lead plays and did a real good job. But fortunately, I was able to get outside with the option to run or throw. They did a good job of coverage. Okay.
All right, Ronnie, here it goes. You'll see your tremendous move, Crazy Legs Jaworski, going up and over.
If you remember this, they should be flashing a card that says 9.8 or something after you finish this, Jaws.
Oof, there's the rib shot.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of my days at Lackawanna High School when I had to.
Ron, let me ask you one question. We mentioned before the game that you seemed extremely confident going into this. And when we talked to you yesterday, you said that there were some things that you really felt you could do against the Buffalo defense given the time, and it seemed to work out exactly like you thought.
Well, Wayne, for the most part, I think we did an outstanding job of mixing things up, the play action passing, the running game, and throwing the ball against their coverages. But I think most of all, this team has maintained a belief in themselves. We've gone through some tough times. Last week's playing San Francisco, Dallas, and Washington, and playing them tough but losing. And maybe some other people got down on us and down on our football team, with our team hung together. And I think today was a good example. We had a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes, but the team kept battling and fighting. And maybe that's the turning point for our organization, for our team.
Ron, very briefly, was that a nasty game? It seemed to me like there was a lot of action on the field. Special teams were after each other. Was there a lot of baiting and taunting on the field back and forth?
Well, I think both teams, obviously, Brookie, are a little bit frustrated right now. We've lost 3 in a row, and the Bills have lost 5 in a row, and I think both teams came out very angry trying to prove something. And early in the ball game, Jim Haslett grabbed me, and I think I was determined to come into this game and at least set the tempo, and I started pushing and shoving, and maybe that got everyone else going. But it's just good to get a win after a tough 3 weeks.
Ronnie, good luck to you, my friend, and I'm glad your mom was here to see it, and I know everybody in Philadelphia is happy for you, too.
I'm looking forward to seeing my family and friends.
Okay, Ronnie, thank you very much. Guess what? We've done our ball game up here, and we enjoyed it. You know it? I'm glad we did. It's 27-17.
I liked it.
All right, this is Tom Brookshire for Wayne Walker, and let's go right now to Brent Musburger in New York City.
Welcome those of you who watch the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Buffalo Bills, and the rest of you, of course, who watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hold off the Minnesota Vikings. Let's get you started now with a scoring update, and especially the story on Walter Payton when we get to it. The Washington Redskins have moved into first place in the NFC's Eastern Division. They have the same one-loss record as the Dallas Cowboys, 4-2, but the Redskins have not lost a divisional game, and the Cowboys have been beaten twice within the NFC East. Now the Jets, their record is 4-2. They are pushing the Miami Dolphins. 17-16, the Jets over Kansas City today. Philadelphia, of course, came away with that victory by 10 points over the Bills, 27-17. New England's record, 4-2. They are tied with the Jets for second in the AFC East, 17-16 over the Cleveland Browns. Minnesota and Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers at 500, or one game behind the Chicago Bears, 35-31 over Minnesota. Denver and Detroit, and the Broncos did it with ease. And, of course, now they have a record of 5-1. They are in first place in the AFC West, regardless of how the Raiders and Seattle make out in their game. They have a better record within the division. New Orleans and Chicago, the Bears' mark goes to 4-2, as you see the unbeaten Miami Dolphins at 31-7 today over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they did it easily. Now, of course, it's the Chicago Bears, as we see the St. Louis Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. It's 31-20, and that upset keeps the Cardinals in the running. And finally, the Bears over the New Orleans Saints, 20-7. And let's check in on some of the action that unfolded in Soldier Field earlier today. Everyone, of course, was anticipating a record breaker by Walter Payton, and they got it. Then they started the second half in Chicago. Payton was stuffed on first down. This was second down. Needs 3 yards for the record. Cuts inside, battles his way for the all-time rushing record. Champagne was served upstairs by the Payton family, congratulated, and then Payton said, everybody get off the field and let's resume the game. But when it was over, I had an opportunity to talk to Walter Payton.
It was a lot to me today because not only did the offensive line play as hard as they could, but we also put points on the board, what we've been trying to do. The win is the key thing.
Walter, you have been downplaying this record now for some time, but does it mean more to you personally now that you have accomplished it? Can you comment on what it means after you've surpassed it?
Well, Brett, to tell you the truth, I get more out of chasing as opposed to obtaining. And as far as surpassing Jim's Brown mark, you know, it's unfortunate that it has to happen, but that's the way records are made to be broken. My goal is set on 15-5.
All right. Now, Walter, how many more years do you plan on playing for the Bears in Chicago? What are your goals?
Well, I would like to continue to play for the Chicago Bears as long as I'm productive. And when it gets to the point that I'm not, then I'm going to step down.
Walter, we are now going to roll your record run out of New York. It, of course, was the second play from scrimmage in the third quarter. Were you as eager as we were to get it over with here?
I tell you, before the game, I thought last week I was nervous, but this week it was even more so because, you know, they were keying on me and everybody's watching you. And, you know, it's not like that you could be out there amongst everybody and do things and get away with it. Everybody's eyes were on me.
All right, Walter, and of course I know the victory is so important. I must ask you one more question in conclusion. What will the Cubs do this afternoon in San Diego?
Well, since we got a victory here, it's inevitable that the Cubs will beat San Diego. I say the score would probably be 3-1, favor the Cubs.
Walter's on his way. Leon Durham just pulled a 2-run shot, 2-0 for the Cubs in the NFL today. Continues on CBS in just a moment.
Come on, America, discover the book. Open up a brand new world. Heroes in history, action and victory. Come on, America, discover the book. Triumph and tragedy, romance and mystery. Come on, America, discover the book. Make it brand new, Napa. Make it Napa brand new.
It's like turning back the miles on your car when you use quality Napa brand parts. So whether you do it yourself or have it done for you, make it Napa brand new. Right now, during Napa Car Care Days with quality Napa Auto Parts. It's almost like turning your car back to when it was new. Look for the Napa Car Care Days banner and...
Make it brand new, Napa. Make it Napa brand new.
Hey, Harry Gant, what's it like driving the Skoal Bandit?
It ain't easy. Even in practice.
What's it like using Skoal Bandits?
That's real easy.
Skoal Bandits is tobacco in a neat little pouch. You don't chew it. Just put one between your cheek and gum and enjoy the refreshing taste. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing.
It's that easy.
Try Skoal Bandits. We think you'll agree. It's a little pouch of pleasure.
You know people like us, we're teachers. Firemen, people just like you. These are the uniforms we wear at work.
But these are the uniforms we wear when we serve part-time in the reserves and the National Guard.
You see, in the reserves and the Guard, you not only serve your country,
you're part of a first-rate team.
Training alongside real buddies.
Yet while you serve, you can live at home.
And keep your full-time job.
Because in the reserves and the Guard, you don't have to give up one life to live another.
The reserves and the National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter.
All right, of course, next week it's Washington and Dallas. Those two teams, they went in opposite directions this afternoon. As you know, the Redskins shut down the Indianapolis Colts 35-7. That was the Redskins' fourth straight triumph. It was a tough day for the Colts. Not only did they lose Curtis Dickey with a knee injury, but their best blocker, Chris Hinton, had to be carried off because he broke a leg. Now, Joe Theismann did the rest. 3 touchdown passes to Art Monk. And I'll tell you, Monk is developing Irvin into one of the best receivers. Was not the finest receiver in the National Football League today. That honor went to Roy Green of the St. Louis Cardinals as the Cardinals upset the Dallas Cowboys 31-20, and there's a brand new quarterbacking controversy down in Big D. Here is Tony Dorsett. Lomax from the shotgun will go over the middle to Roy Green, and he goes all the way for the 69-yard touchdown. Green caught 8 passes for 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is the second one coming up right here. He goes deep down the sideline and takes it in from 45 yards out. And he had a 3rd touchdown called back because he'd stepped out of bounds first before he came back in to catch it. The quarterbacking controversy. Danny White, sacked here by the Cardinals, was able to lead the Cowboys to a touchdown, but it was too little too late, and we bring in Jimmy the Greek. First of all, let me ask you about who will quarterback the Cowboys, in your opinion, against Washington. Will it be Gary Hogeboom or Danny White?
Danny White, absolutely. No question about it. He moved the team a little bit. Hogeboom didn't do a very good job, Brent.
Irv, you were down in Dallas. What do you know about the quarterbacking situation?
Well, I know this. Coach Landry planned to make his final decision about a starting quarterback after the 6th ball game. It could well be Danny White next week.
Well, this was the 6th one, and you'd have to go to White if that was going to be the determining factor. Jimmy, what about the game itself? Who will be favored?
Washington will be favored. They're at home. They'll be a strong field goal favorite.
All right. Jimmy, of course, some other games have gotten underway. As you see, the Chargers and the Packers are tied at 7. The storyline there is that both quarterbacks have thrown touchdown passes. Dan Fouts for the Chargers and Lynn Dickey for the Packers in that one. Houston and Cincinnati, justice would be served if this game wound up scoreless. Let me tell you that. Seattle and the Raiders. Now, the development here. Jim Plunkett is out with a hip pointer, and Mark Wilson has gone in for the Raiders. If he moves that Raider offense, they probably won't have a quarterback controversy in L.A. I would guess that Wilson would be the starter. Jimmy, would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. It happened last year, too. Don't you remember when Plunkett got hurt, White went in? The kid from BYU went in.
Mark Wilson went in and got the job done. Atlanta and the Los Angeles Rams and the Falcons have just scored, and they, of course, are without Gerald Riggs, so his substitute, Len Cain, bolted for 31 yards in the touchdown. Remember here, the Falcons have never beaten the Rams out in the West Coast, and now they lead them by a count of 7-0. Let me remind you, next Saturday, NCAA college football. The Big Ten, 1 game separates 5 teams. They're all now chasing Purdue. Illinois and Ohio State at 2-1 in the conference are 1 game behind, or you'll see Washington favored to win the Pac-10 against Stanford. That's 3:30 Eastern Time. Then next Sunday, of course, the NFL today, 12:30 Eastern Time. Irv Cross will be taking a look at that quarterbacking controversy. And then our doubleheader game, the Dallas Cowboys against the Washington Redskins. So we hope you've enjoyed the NFL today. I'm Brent Musburger for Jimmy the Greek and Irv Cross. So long, everybody.
The NFL on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
Fly the friendly skies of United, serving more of the nation's top 100 business centers than anyone.
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
Be sure to watch a fascinating edition of 60 Minutes, the popular television news magazine that features Mike Wallace, Morley Safer, Harry Reasoner, and Ed Bradley this evening on CBS.